Hello, I'm Mark Lloydbottom, a practice management consultant. I'd like to talk to you about something that I think is probably quite close to your heart, and that is billing. Now, when you became an accountant, you no doubt spent time training to do audits, accounts and tax. But you know, I'm not aware of any professional training that requires training in billing. The fact is this, that wherever you go around the world, the average accounting firm has lockup of somewhere between 25 to 35%. Now, let me just define lockup. First of all, take your debtors or receivables, including your sales tax or value-added tax, and to that figure add the retail cost of your unbilled work in progress. That gives you lockup. Now, even at the lower end of 25%, that means that effectively an accounting firm has somewhere between 90 to the upper end, maybe 120 days or even more of work that has been performed for the client but not been paid for. And if you were to compare that with a retail transaction where you make your decision, make your purchase and pay for the goods, or even on the internet where you make your decision, pay and then receive your goods, I believe that probably this is one of the key areas where there is going to be the greatest change in the next 5 to 10 years. And I believe, in fact, that change is already taking place. Many myths have built up around billing. In fact, if you look in Defining Edge, I've identified over 20 different billing myths. For example, last year's fee is a good guide to this year's fee. And that is the anchor and the trap into which many firms are falling into. Or perhaps you think maybe we'll do the job first and talk to the client about the fee later. It is always the vendor's responsibility, the service provider's responsibility, to bring up the question of the price for your service. In Defining Edge, we look at 21 ways in which you can improve your firm billing. Now, as an accountant, you are of course an expert in such things as the depreciation of assets. A car, most people will depreciate cars by between 20 to 25%. Fixtures and fittings, maybe 25 to 33%. Technology equipment, many firms depreciate technology equipment by 33% straight line. The point is this, you, as the accountant, are the expert in the depreciation of these assets. Now, as a practice management consultant, I am an expert in the depreciation of work in progress. Do you know that work in progress depreciates somewhere in the region of 3, maybe even 4% a month? So you do the work perhaps in January and you bill the client in April, but by that time they've completely forgotten what it is you've done. So we need to remember as professionals that it is important to make sure that we bill our clients while the tears of appreciation are moist in their eyes. Both Defining Edge and Deeper look in detail at how to improve billing, and in the case of Deeper, I have identified a very, very significant and important trend that isn't at this stage prevalent in the accounting profession. But many firms are starting to take advantage and realize that billing practices have to change. Many firms are using 20th century practices, and yet we are well and truly into the 21st century. Read Defining Edge, study Deeper, and I believe that you will be able, using the technique that I have discussed, to reduce your lockup down to as low as 15%. Take your lockup, work out the difference between your lockup today and 15%, and ask this question: how would you feel if you were able to release that extra working capital and maybe even downsize your capital account? Take the cash home? Well, I suspect there are people at home who know how hard you work. There is no joy and now no need to continue with lockup and owner capital, which has reached heights that are far beyond those which are appropriate. I believe that if we do not change now, we're at risk. And in deeper we look at those risks, we give you some solutions and some very clear, straightforward practices that will enable you to reduce lockup to 15%. You want to train your staff as well? In my staff training program, better billing, better collections, lower lockup, guaranteed, you will be able to take your firm on a journey that will enable you not just to reduce lockup, but can I suggest it will also have your clients enthusiastic about your new billing practice.